All right, I guess we're going to call this to order at 6:01 p.m.
Bien, son las 6:01 de la tarde.
One second.
One moment. Okay. Do you want to do roll call first and then do your thing, or you want to go first?
Yeah, why don't we do roll call first?
Okay. So let's go around and just let us know your name and your district. I'm Nathan Solomon from District 1.
I'm John Alden, I'm the Highland Director. Brent Kidder, Lieutenant with the Sheriff's Office.
Alberto Botello, member of Rush.
Susie Martez, District 1.
Michael Miller, District 4.
Imelda Martínez, Distrito 5.
Lizette Camacho with ILRO.
And we'll let John have secretary.
Yes, we have online our chair, Lorena Barrera. I want to say a few words about that. So our chair, Lorena, notified
Recording in progress.
earlier this week that she'd be attending remotely today, pursuant to an applicable just cause as defined in the contract. And the circumstances for the just cause for today's teleconference participation is, I understand, the need to provide some caregiving for a child inside the family. And so we're going to do a couple things here to confirm that we're within the Brown Act to have Chair Barrera participate remotely. Chair, one of the questions I'm supposed to ask you is whether you have anyone else over the age of 18 present at your remote location with you. And if so, could you tell us the general nature of your relationship with that person?
At this time, I do not have anyone over the age of 18 present in my location.
Okay, great. So now that this body has received that notification, we would normally have whoever the presiding officer is, I'm going to ask for a vote to confirm that it's okay with this body for this particular member, Chair Barrera, to participate remotely. Our bylaws say that the CAC, the meetings are to be run by the chair, or in the absence of the chair, the vice chair. The vice chair couldn't be here tonight, so that appears to leave it to staff. This might be something we could improve in the bylaws in the future, but for the moment, we've been advised by County Council to be appropriate for staff to ask the members of the CAC if they would like to make a motion voting in favor of having Chair Barrera participate remotely, given the just cause exception she has mentioned. Would anyone like to make a motion about that, or does anyone have questions?
I so move.
Yeah, a second.
Okay, so we have a motion by CAC member Michael Miller, seconded by CAC member Nate Solomon. Any discussion before we vote? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
I believe you're required to take a roll call.
Oh, that's right. That is also a change that was not something we were doing last year. Thank you for the...
Sorry about that. It's my fault.
Yep, no, that's a good catch. So we'll have to go through each member, and I would just suggest we start with Nathan Solomon here, and then go around to...
Okay. Nathan Solomon, I say yay on that.
Di tu nombre y qué dice sí.
Imelda Martínez, sí.
Michael Miller, yes.
Susie Martez, yes.
Alberto Botello, aye.
Okay. So as I understand it, that action by this body now allows Chair Barrera to participate remotely, and she can chair the rest of the meeting from here. Lorena, you ready?
Thank you, John. Thanks, Nate. Thanks, everyone. Sorry for creating the extra work due to my remote participation. Let's get started with our meeting. So thank you all for being here today for April 8th Community Advisory Council meeting. We're going to continue the agenda with item 2, the approval of the March 11th meeting minutes. Does anyone have any questions or comments on the minutes? I'm not seeing any hands raised in the room. Is there any public comment on the minutes? And if you guys don't mind, if you do see someone with their hand raised, because I can't really see them, just let me know.
No one's hands raised.
Okay, thank you. So we'll close public comment and bring it back to the CAC for a possible motion.
Move to
Or I'd
approve.
like to entertain a
Nathan.
motion.
Michael
Thank you.
Miller.
There was a first and a second. And Lizette, if you wouldn't mind, can you take a roll call vote, please?
Nathan Solomon, yes.
Imelda
Imelda?
Martínez.
Michael Miller, yes.
Susie Martinez, yes.
Alberto Rodeo, yes.
And I will vote yes on the minutes as well. And that motion carries. Moving on to current member attendance, openings and appointments. We have a current vacancy in District 2 and in District 5. And I believe today is Imelda's last meeting. Imelda, we're gonna miss you, and I'm sorry I couldn't be there today. Thank you for serving the CC and the community in this very important position. Regarding attendance, it was not included in this month's packet, but we will include it in the next one. Just as a reminder here and there for where everyone's at on attendance, because there are requirements in the bylaws stating that we have to attend, I believe, 75% of meetings. Moving on to oral reports and comments. We'll start with Lieutenant Kidder with the Sheriff Liaison's report.
Good evening, everybody. I'll start my report with some follow-up questions from last month's meeting. There was a question if the Sheriff's Office was going to look at securing SCAP funding in the future. If we recall, I've reported that we are not currently receiving SCAP funding. And after discussions with the Sheriff and the Chief of Financial and Administrative Services, we are not looking at securing SCAP funding in the future. And then there was also a question posed to me whether or not the Sheriff has engaged in discussions with the District Attorney regarding whether or not, or regarding if ICE commits crimes here in Sonoma County. I was not privy to those conversations, so I wasn't able to definitively report. However, after speaking with the Sheriff, he has in fact engaged in those conversations and discussions with the District Attorney, and if it is determined that members of ICE commit crimes in the County of Sonoma, they will be prosecuted. Since the last time we met, I was able to provide the chair with some information regarding the county's bilingual pay program, which I imagine may be reported on later in this meeting possibly. If not, hopefully that information was helpful. In the last month, the Sheriff's Office is engaged in about 10 events, some of which include the Youth Ag Days at local Sonoma County schools, or 4 Sonoma County schools. There was an AB 481 meeting at the Sheriff's Office. That is, the AB 481 is the mandatory reporting and tracking of military equipment within the Sheriff's Office. The note that is most important is that even though it's defined as military equipment, it doesn't necessarily come from the military. It's just been designated as military equipment by legislation. Examples of this type of equipment would be drones, our bomb squad or our EOD robot, any less lethal devices, and the Bearcat vehicle that our Special Operations Unit utilizes. For a more comprehensive list, if you're interested in that, there is a list on the Sheriff's Office website. The Spanish Academy has begun. It started March 21st and will continue for the next few weeks. There was a scam prevention presentation, which deals with financial fraud, you know, those telemarketers or emails that folks use to prey on vulnerable individuals. There was a career day presentation at Roseland Accelerated Middle School, I think is the name of the school. There was an AP US History class presentation at the Roseland Collegiate Prep School. We attended and participated in a Women in Public Safety presentation, and Sergeant Valencia presented at the Community EOC Academy, which is put on by the Department of Emergency Management. Regarding immigration-related information, there were 63 notifications received from ICE. There were 10 requests for information. We returned 8 notifications, and there were 5 arrests in the detention facility. And last, I know it's been a point of discussion, the Sheriff's Office website, I think we all can agree it is not the most user-friendly. That project is currently underway. The vendor that is revamping our website is called Exemplify. It is in the infancy stages. The web pages are being designed and laid out, but it's still in the paper phase. Nothing has yet gone to the electronic versions, and the expected time frame for completion is hopefully late May, early June. That's what I got.
Thank you, Lieutenant. We'll go with the Alero Director's report.
Great. I have a few upcoming dates that I think you all might be interested in. So I'll start with those, and then we'll talk about the decision we got back in our appellate case, which is included in the agenda packet tonight. So now that we are in April, this is the beginning of the county's budget setting season. In late April, the Board of Supervisors has hearings that here in Sonoma County we call budget workshops, in which the Board of Supervisors hears some presentations from each of the department heads about what they would like their spending to be over the next fiscal year, and any asks they might have about ways their budget could change. They'll pitch at these workshops, and that gives the Board of Supervisors then a couple of months to think about those asks before they finalize the budget, usually in June. It's also an opportunity for the public to hear about what those budget asks are and provide some feedback if you like. The Sheriff's Office budget presentation is, last I saw, scheduled for the afternoon of April 22nd. Alero's budget presentation is scheduled for the morning of April 23rd. Sometimes these change at the last minute in the week of the workshops if other presentations run over or go short, or that's the current tentative schedule. There'll be budget workshops that whole week for all the agencies and departments here in the county, but those are two you might be interested in. I wanted to call to your attention something Lieutenant Kidder mentioned, which was SCAP funding. And my understanding from both the County Administrator's Office and the Sheriff's Office is that the Sheriff's budget presentation during the workshops on April 22nd will include noting that he's not going to be asking for SCAP funding moving forward. And I think that's a real positive. And if anyone listening to this meeting wants to provide some positive feedback about that to the sheriff, as I would, that hearing on the 22nd is a good opportunity to give a thumbs up and a thank you. Many counties in California have stopped applying for the SCAP funding we were talking about earlier, including our neighbor to the south, Marin, our neighbor to the east, Napa, and a lot of other counties here in the Bay Area and Southern California. And again, I think that's a positive, and many people in the community have been asking for that. So I think in oversight and also in spaces like the Community Advisory Council, it can be easy to provide negative feedback, but it is equally important, in my opinion, to provide positive feedback. So you'll all consider that as an opportunity to say thanks to the sheriff for making that decision. I'm sure not everyone in communities can agree with him about that. And we could probably use some support from all of you if you agree with that position. For the Iolero budget presentation on April 23rd, honestly, that's going to be a pretty short and quiet presentation. We don't have any changes to our budget that we're going to be presenting. So I don't know that any of you would find it necessarily any new information we haven't heard in our previous budget presentations. But there it is for the morning of the 23rd, if you're interested. Also, coming up in the near future, between now and our next CIC meeting, is the Sheriff's Office Annual Truth Act presentation, where the Sheriff's Office makes a required presentation to the Board of Supervisors, including some public feedback about how it is that the Sheriff's Office does and does not interact with ICE. Those presentations, in my opinion, have been getting more and more robust every year, and I think the Sheriff's Office deserves some credit for improving the quality and the depth of those presentations every year. They're also now in the evening. It's easier for people to participate. This particular Truth Act presentation on May 12th, Tuesday, is going to be in the evening at 6 p.m. So I think also make it easier for people to appear. And if you are interested in participating or even just listening in person, that's an opportunity for you to weigh in.
What was that date again?
Tuesday, May 12th. There was a meeting of the Board of Supervisors yesterday, in which the sheriff appeared and spoke for a little bit. And one of the things he mentioned was that he was considering this year paring back even further the way that his office responds to requests for information from ICE, such that they might start responding in an even narrower set of circumstances than they do today. And because he mentioned that yesterday, that might be an opportunity to provide some feedback about the ways in which you'd like to see the Sheriff's Office change that policy, and exactly how that policy works and how it's changed over time. I imagine would probably be one of the topics of the Truth Act forum on May 12th. Since we met last, we got back the final decision of the appellate court in Ilero's litigation with the Sheriff's Office about whistleblower subpoenas. That opinion has a couple of points I find interesting. You all have a copy of it in your agenda packets, and maybe there are other things you might find interesting about it. I appreciated the court's conclusion that Ilero is in fact an inspector general under a state statute, Government Code Section 25303.7, that Ilero has the authority to issue subpoenas, that subpoena power can't be, or at least is not in our case, altered or changed by any kind of collective bargaining or negotiated agreement with the union. And the court also went the extra mile of saying that that's also going to be true of all other inspectors general in California, and that this is a state statutory power that all the inspectors general have, and that can't be limited unless the state chooses to change it sometime down the pike. Those portions of the opinion, as I understand it, are going to be published, or at least that court has said that they think this opinion should be available to all attorneys moving forward as an authority they can cite in other cases. Therefore, this would have statewide effect. It is the only case on these issues that I know of, and so that way it's quite groundbreaking. There are some portions of the opinion that the court did not want to publish, but are still relevant to us and still apply to us. One of them is that they confirm that Ilero's investigative power extends not just to the operations of the sheriff's office or to deputies in the sheriff's office, but also the sheriff and herself individually. And also reiterated that Ilero has access to the confidential disciplinary records of deputy sheriffs as a general rule. So from our perspective at Ilero, that gave us the answers we wanted on all of the issues that we hoped would be answered. And I think it makes it a lot clearer for us moving forward that in this ongoing sort of disconnect we've had with at least the Deputy Sheriff's Association, maybe not some other bargaining units, it's clear that Measure P controls over the negotiated letters of agreement that were reached a few years ago with them, not the other way around. And I think that, I'm grateful that that provides clarity for us about what we're doing moving forward. Now, that said, this opinion, there are two parties on the other side, the Sheriff's Office and then the Deputy Sheriff's Association. Either one of them could ask the state Supreme Court to review the case. And the state Supreme Court is not required to do that, kind of like the federal Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court. They have a lot of asks to review cases, and they don't take very many of them. And I don't think they would take this one, but we'll see about that. That deadline doesn't come yet for a little while. Likewise, there's a separate deadline for any of the parties involved to ask for more or less of the opinion to be published for it to have precedential effect throughout the rest of the state. So those two decision points are still ahead of us. I was grateful to receive earlier today an email from the sheriff indicating that his intention is to comply with the subpoenas at this point, and so we're moving forward on that process with him. I can't say anything more about that particular case because the remainder of it is confidential, but at least that point, I think we have a good result of it, and I'm really happy about that. So we'll keep you posted as to whether any of those other deadlines I mentioned result in any action that you might be interested in, but that's the state of that case so far. And that's everything I have for my report. I think our next item is the CAC Public Correspondence Report.
Yes, thank you. There wasn't any public correspondence that the CAC hasn't already received from Lizette. So now we can take questions from CAC. Are there any questions? I just had a question for you, John, regarding the two deadlines that you said were coming up for either publishing more of the opinion or asking the state to, the internet kind of goes in and out, but I thought I heard you say that they can review the decision. Is that correct? Do you know if anyone's going to make any requests? Any of the parties?
I don't know. Sorry, I wasn't sure. I keep thinking you're done, but then I'm talking over you. I apologize. Did I get your whole question?
Maybe. Go ahead. It's the same on my end, sorry.
Okay. We wouldn't know if anyone sought review from the Supreme Court until that deadline actually comes later this month. If memory serves, I think that's roughly 30 days from when the opinion came out, so not quite the end of April, but close. As for the publication issue, I think it's a similar deadline, but I have to check. I don't remember that off the top of my head.
Thank you. Is there any public comment on the reports that were provided?
We have some hands, yeah.
My
Okay.
question is for Lieutenant Kidder, and you may not be able to answer this today. Yesterday at the Board of Supervisors meeting, Supervisor Hopkins expressed fear that if the sheriff did not cooperate with ICE, say for a rapist who was in the jail, somebody might get killed or raped. When they asked for information, when ICE asked for information, has there ever been a time when they have not asked about a rapist? And if there is a rapist, or murder, or whatever, the worst of the worst, can't ICE find out this information on their own, and if the person is being released, be outside the jail, and it doesn't require the cooperation of the sheriff?
Let me see if I can regurgitate.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, sorry, yeah.
So are you asking if it's possible for ICE to figure out the information they're seeking from the sheriff's office on their own without our cooperation?
Yes,
Okay.
and, yeah, and to your knowledge, have they ever not requested about somebody who is considered the worst of the worst?
Have they ever not requested
Have
information?
they missed it somehow? That somebody's gonna get released who has committed one of the crimes he responds to?
I don't know if I understand that aspect of it. Can you reword it?
Well,
Have they ever not asked? I mean, there's oftentimes, I don't think they don't ask about everybody in the jail, so there's.
okay, well,
times they don't
I'm
ask.
wondering, do they always catch in their research all the people who have committed those crimes that are on the list? Or,
I'm not even certain the sheriff's office would be privy to that. That would be a question for ICE and or one of their employees. I don't know.
Okay,
We respond
Yeah.
to what we respond to, and then what they do with that, they never, to my knowledge, they don't tell us what they learned and what they captured.
okay, but they have access if they wanted, they could find that out. Isn't that public record, who's been convicted of what, and also when they've been released?
I'm not certain what databases that they use. I mean,
Well, no, I know, you don't know what they're gonna do, I'm just wondering if it's available, if they could get it if they wanted.
Pardon me for interrupting.
Yes,
But technically, this is supposed to be public comment, not Q&A.
Okay,
So, Susan, perhaps you could craft a question or two
okay,
and send them in by email in the next week or so, and then the lieutenant could check on, what
Okay,
the answers might
okay,
be for our
that's
next
fine.
meeting. How does that sound?
yeah, I'm not gonna be able to send this truth out from there, because I have another meeting, so that's why I'm trying to get information ahead of time.
Absolutely, sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, John. I was about to jump in. Susan, is that the end of your comment?
Yeah, that was it, yeah.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
3 minutes.
Is that Michael back there?
Thank you, yeah. I'll make a
Okay,
public
go ahead.
comment on Michael Hoover, yes. I'll make a public comment on the sheriff's report. I'll go on record as saying that if the sheriff's not handing over every deportable felon with a narcotics or gang or weapons conviction, I consider that malfeasance. He should cooperate and hand them over and facilitate the deportation of convicted felons.
Thank you, Michael. Is that the end of your comment?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other hands raised in the room?
Yep. We have
No?
Jim.
Jim Duffy, go ahead.
First, Brent, I want to express my thanks to the Sheriff's Office for not seeking SCAT funding anymore. I think that's huge. I will try to remember to, at the budget hearings, to send in a letter thanking Sheriff Engrum as well for that. I think he's fantastic. And it's also phenomenal that the Sheriff and the DA have decided, come to an agreement that they will prosecute ICE if ICE commits crimes in Sonoma County. And I think that they should shout that from the rooftops, because I haven't heard that any other place but right here, and the public should really know that. And CAC members, you might want to help promote that information out there so folks know it. Also on the 12th, in addition to the Truth Forum, in the morning, they're going to have the 481 hearing before the Board of Supervisors. And if any of you did not make it to their public event, that's the military equipment thing, I suggest at minimum that you read the docket materials and become familiar with the tools that they have and the budget expenditures related with them, just so you get a feel for this is an annual thing that they do, and it's a good thing to know about. And then a question for John. You had a behind closed door meeting with the Board of Supervisors after the appellate decision. Do you have any sense, are they going to issue any public response or take any action, or are they going to do anything, or?
Well, two things
Because it
there.
was weird, it was behind closed doors and then no readout to the public afterwards?
Yeah, well, I'd say two things about that. One is, those of us who participate in closed session meetings, whether they're staff or members of the board, are not allowed to tell the public what happens in closed session. So,
It's
state
been
law.
tabled twice.
Just
The
at,
answer is-
let me finish. So, pursuant to state law, none of us in the room can share with anybody else what occurred. So that's, as a general rule, something I cannot report out to anybody here. My understanding was that there was no reportable action taken, and that one of the things that we do see in California is that boards of supervisors, when they meet in closed session, are required to eventually tell the public, was there some kind of action that we took that we're going to report out to people? And there are some circumstances where they do take some kind of action that is reported out, and I don't believe there was any from that session that I know of. So that's all I can tell you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Is that the last public comment?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Are there people on Zoom?
Yes.
Are there any hands raised?
No.
Okay, thank you. So we'll close out public comment on the oral reports and comments section of the agenda. Thank you for those reports. Now we'll move on to business item 5A. Discussion and possible action to adopt a formal position in support of AB 2257 and direct CAC members to transmit this position to the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors and relevant state representatives. So this is an item that was brought to our attention by Jim Duffy last month, and as you all might recall, I also gave an update regarding how we can't write our own letters in support or opposition of bills in the legislature and then send them as CAC members directly to the legislature. So, but there is a way around that, which is we can formally take a position as a body and then let the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors know of our position and encourage them to take a position as a body themselves. We reached out to Jim Duffy and we have a draft letter that was in the packet along with some background information on AB 2257. Are there any questions from CAC members on this letter? Any comments? And the owl kind of has the room cut off, so okay, there. It does its own thing. So I couldn't really see.
Oh, is it just blocking it? Oh.
No, it just, you know how sometimes if no one's moving, it's just like not pointing at anyone. I don't think you can control that. No, it's showing the room now.
Okay, good.
Sorry. Okay, I don't see. Thank you, Nate. So what do you guys think? If this is something that you want to do? I think the only change I would have, thank you, Jim, for providing this. And actually, if the CAC is okay with it, I'd like to let Jim just give like 1 or 2 minutes of brief information on why he brought it to our attention, which I think we all know, but just to hear from him directly since he put in the work on this. Jim, if you wouldn't mind addressing the CAC, I would really appreciate it.
No, I'm happy to. I became aware of this through my participation with the California Coalition for Sheriff's Oversight, which I've mentioned to this body before, and you're all welcome to join their monthly meetings and join the coalition. It was brought to them from the California League of Women Voters representative on the California Coalition. And League of Women Voters is strongly supporting this. It's a good government measure. And she asked that people who are affiliated with any organizations ask those organizations to support. And so the people from Sonoma County who are regulars at that meeting are Carl Tenenbaum and myself, and Carl said he gas clean. I said I'd bring it to the CAC and see if you guys would do anything. I thought it was a really good idea for Sonoma County to be in support of this, because under the first two directors of IOLARO, they had both said that when they came in, there were the majority of issues that they were identifying had to do with the jail, not the patrol side. And the public was really interested in the patrol side, but they were identifying a lot of things in the jail. We haven't heard that under Director Alden, and that makes me think that things have gotten better in the jail than they used to be. But that could be because Eddie's doing a good job, you know, and he used to be in charge of the jail when he was the assistant sheriff, and so he's got a better feel for it than maybe previous sheriffs had. I'm just guessing it's a black hole for those of us that don't get to go in there and audit it. And it could get worse sometime in the future. This is another tool in the tool belt of the Board of Supervisors, who normally do their oversight work through IOLARO. But if IOLARO in the future starts identifying really bad things in the jail, the Board of Supervisors could use this hammer and say, hey, we're going to take the jail away from you if you don't, you know, fix the problems. You know, we're paying out too many civil suits related to what's going on in jail. We just can't have this. So, and they used to have this law prior to '93, and now I'm just rambling. So, but that's.
Thank you, Jim. Any comments from CAC members? So I don't think it, go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, I have a question. Are we going to vote on whether or not the CAC is going to support this here tonight?
Yeah, so we would vote on approving this letter, and then this would be forwarded to the Board of Supervisors.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I like this idea. I think it's always good to have more options for managing any facility, especially a jail. But so to me and I'm not as deeply involved as Jim in this at all, but just from my read of this, it makes perfect sense. And I don't see why supervisors wouldn't want this ability. So simple as that to me, but I'm sure I'm oversimplifying.
I agree with Nate, and I think it's good to have some kind of way to address issues in the future and give authority to a different group if things get out of hand. And like Jim said, it doesn't seem like we need that now, and we don't know what's going to happen with this bill, but I think it's good to show that we're taking a side on something that could be helpful in the future. I do think that the letter should be signed from the CAC and not the chair. And aside from that, I think it's a good.
Would this measure, Mr. Duffy, would this measure, do you think, or do you know, impact the healthcare services at the jail too? Or just the management?
Not directly. It would affect the management of the jail.
Right.
You know, if the Board of Supervisors felt that they wanted health care better taken care of in the jail, and the sheriff said, you know, take a long walk off a short pier, and, you know, they could then invoke this and put a board in, or an individual to manage the jail. Okay.
Can I add another perspective here? It also provides flexibility to the sheriff to figure out whether or not that's something he wants to do, right?
Sure.
So like in some places, you might actually see a sheriff say, I'd rather not be in charge of the jail. I think that should be a separate agency or department. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be
punitive.
Yeah.
Thank you. It provides options to a county and to a sheriff.
Yeah. Options are usually good. Okay, thank you.
So, do you guys think we should move forward? If so, I would entertain a motion to adopt a formal position in support of AB 2257, with the change of signing it from the CAC, and then we would forward that to our supervisors.
I move.
Is there public comment?
Oh,
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, we took Jim's comments.
sorry.
Sorry about that. Was that Susan? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no,
Let's open up
I don't
public
think
comment
I
right
asked what
now.
Nate asked, so, you know,
That's okay.
it was done. But somebody else might.
Yeah, I do.
Is there any public comment?
Yeah, we do. Yep.
Okay.
I would, Michael Hooper, I would object to you endorsing this. It's for the county to consider removing the jail supervision from the sheriff is hugely problematic. Create all kind of conflicts and wasted money. You should understand the sheriff's elected to be law enforcement for the county as well as supervising the jail. So he is accountable to the voters. If anything goes on wrong in the jail, he can be voted out at the next opportunity or even recalled. There was a sheriff removed from some other county, Santa Clara or something, for inappropriate behavior. But anyway, this introduces something that would have consequences that are very costly to the public. You have things like sheriff escorting people to the courts and what have you, and they'd have to coordinate with an agency, a different agency running the jail that's not under sheriff's command, so it's hugely problematic. I don't think you appreciate the potential downsides to this, so I would say do not send this letter.
Thank you for your comment.
I do have a response to that, in that it says right here on the first page that it does not require counties to change it, and one would assume that this would not be something the Board of Supervisors would do lightly or easily, and it would really be only in response to major problems. And therefore, we would want it taken away from the sheriff if there were big problems. And like I said, it says not required to do it, and it would probably be something really big before they would do it.
Thank you. Any more public comment? I think that's it, Lorena.
Thank you, Nate. Okay, we'll close out public comment and bring it back for, so we had a motion made. Was there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Michael. So we do have to do a roll call vote. So I will vote in favor of supporting AB 2257 and transmitting the position to the Board of Supervisors. And then you guys can go around the room. Nate, I guess you could be next.
Nathan Solomon, District 1, I vote yes.
Imelda.
Imelda Martínez, Distrito 5 también.
Michael Miller, District 4, I vote yes.
Susie Martez, District 1, I vote yes, 2257.
Alberto Botello, member at large, I vote yes as well.
Thank you. That motion carries and the item is approved. Okay, moving on to business item 5B, discussion and possible action on anticipated communications regarding California Code of Appeal, Court of Appeal decision affirming Ailero's investigative authority. Nate, I'll let you, want to present this one?
So we drafted this with our ad hoc, and there's actually a couple of sentences at the end that got missed on this version, so I would like to append a couple lines, and I'll read them out for your consideration, and it's pretty quick here. So we just wanted to add to the end of this document, which is page 45 in your packet, The CAC urges our entire Sonoma County community to support ILR's mission and Director Alden's ongoing efforts to utilize his full investigatory authority and transparency for Sheriff Department affairs as the voters demanded in passing Measure P. Moving forward, there is a clear opportunity for our local leadership, including the Sheriff and the Board of Supervisors, to align with that mandate. Supporting lawful oversight is not a concession, it is a responsibility and one that ultimately strengthens public trust and confidence in law enforcement. So we would just like to add that and then, discuss it. I think it's a pretty straightforward statement and it's sort of a summary of what's occurred and in a more concise kind of format for everyone. So we hope you will approve and we can send it off to the Board of Supervisors. Yep. And we also want to talk a little bit about who to distribute it to. We're thinking certainly the Board of Supervisors, but also the email list that we have, like our news and our newsletter, and sharing it with Press Democrat as well. Questions, comments?
Well, Sheriff,
I think it was great. Go ahead, Michael, sorry.
No problem. All Sonoma County newspaper, we should, Bohemian included, all of them.
That's a good point. Yep.
I think Sonoma County Bar Association Legal Aid should be included, as well as the Sonoma County Bar Association. And probably every city council in every city in the county.
It's a long list here.
Thank goodness for email.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Just taking notes, thank you.
I just wanted to say thanks for taking the lead on that, Nate. I'm not sure who you worked with or if it was just you who thought we should have this on, but I think it's great to have an official communication approved by the CAC on this whole Court of Appeal and everything that was decided, and kind of voicing the opinions of the members of the public as well. So I think you did a great job on this.
It wasn't me, it was definitely the ad hoc. So Barbara was very instrumental in this. And Casey actually was really the one who drafted this, and he's not here tonight, but he did all the heavy lifting on this. So thank you to the ad hoc for all that.
Yeah, I'd like to, if I can, particularly thank Barbara. Thank you very much. Good efforts. And Jim as well. And Susan, your input's always welcome. But Barbara, really good input. Thank you.
So if there are no questions from CAC members, we can open this up for public comment. And Nate, if you can handle that for me, please.
Yeah, I'll do the timer, yep.
Are there any hands raised in the room?
One hand raised, yeah, Susan.
Yeah, I would just like to add to the list, the radio stations, because we've had the directors interviewed before on some of the talk shows on the radio, and that really gets out to the public even more than print media does. So if you can get interviews about it for John, or even someone from the CAC, it would really get that far and wide.
So let's name the stations.
Oh, I don't listen to them, I don't know.
Actually, let's talk about it at our ad hoc, but you can give it, let's list it out. I'm with you on that. Yep. And then Barbara has her hand raised.
Yeah,
And restart the timer here.
I wanted to let everyone know that after the announcement, Clean did draft individual letters to each Board of Supervisors member, and also talked a little bit about the vote count for Measure P in their district, which I think is pretty relevant because Measure P actually got more votes than most of them did in their last runs. And we did get responses, one very snarky, but we do have two meetings set up from the non-snarkies Two people that had reached out to want to meet with us, so we're following up with that. But that was good, that at least we were able to get something out, and we did get response from, 3 out of 5. And you gotta figure 2 of them aren't running for re-election, so, anyway, just wanted to let you know.
No more hands? I think that's it. We're ready for public comment.
Okay, thank you. We'll close out public comment. Thank you for the comments, and we'll bring it back to the CAC for possible motion and approval. What do you want to
I'll make the motion.
And this would be approved as amended.
Yes, I make the motion to approve the letter as amended here on the record today.
And then signed by CAC or the director or the
By CAC.
By CAC, okay.
I'll second.
Thank you. So there's a first from Michael, second from Alberto. We'll start with the votes. I'll go last. Sorry, earlier I should have done that. Nate, go ahead.
Okay, Nathan Solomon, District 1, I vote yes.
Imelda Martinez también.
Michael Miller, District 4, I vote yes.
Susie Martinez, District 1, I vote yes.
Alberto Botello, emphatic yes.
Lorena Barrera, District 3, I vote yes as well. And that motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to business item 5C. Discussion and possible action to approve a letter to Sonoma County Sheriff's Office regarding communications related to incidents involving sheriff's deputies. So this is what we talked about at the last meeting that was brought up by Nancy. And if you recall, we decided that we'd start with a letter to the sheriff, just voicing our concerns and our thoughts. And Nate took a stab at the letter. Nancy and I contributed to it, and that is on page 46 of your packet. We'll take questions and comments, or Nate, if you want to add anything to
No, I
it.
think it's pretty clear. We're really just asking the sheriff to take a couple actions regarding existing policies and just formally adding like a note to notify the ILR director when major incidents occurs. So it's very straightforward. And yeah, I hope everyone votes yes.
I have a question. I have some concern about the language serious injury. It's pretty vague and pretty broad. In that world of law enforcement, there's routinely serious injuries. And serious injury, it's like minor surgery. There's no such thing as minor surgery if it's you. So it's pretty vague. I have concerns about that and the burden that could put on the sheriff's office of delineating what serious injury is. As an example, I recall a situation I was personally involved in where an officer was shot, but it was a through wound through the thigh, treated and released. To that officer, it's certainly a serious injury, but maybe in someone else's mind, it's not.
Yeah, we could strike that language. We could strike the serious injury and just go with their definition of major incident.
I think that probably gives them more guidance, I think.
Okay.
And the more specific and leave vagaries out, I think the better.
Works for me. Lorena, do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm good with that as well.
Yeah. Okay, let's strike that.
Any other comments from CAC members? Is there any public comment? I think, is that Jim Jeffrey? Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is a policy recommendation that is coming out of a process other than an ad hoc process. And our ad hoc process, if I remember the handbook that I totally read, one of the things we do is we get together with the sheriff liaison early on, and we make sure that we express what we want to say, and we make sure that we've scoped it well and we're gonna do it well. And I'm wondering if you guys worked at all with Lieutenant Kidder as you drafted this?
Nope, we did not. I mean, this
And
is.
I'm wondering if it would be stronger if you had a meeting, if Brent's willing, to fix any little issues that might be in there that might give Eddie pause.
Brent, would you appreciate
Or if
that?
you don't feel that's necessary.
Well-
I'm always willing to meet with people, but, no.
I just want it to be well received.
That's it's a good point. I think we did this in response to a news event, like something that had just happened at the last meeting that we were made aware of. And so it was very responsive to that, not through like an existing ad hoc. So
That's correct. We
it's a good point.
discussed, I think it was Casey who brought up, Casey and then Michael also, like, we talked about the issue of lack of communication, and then we kind of went over our options, and we went with the less formal option of just drafting a letter. There was also an option to review the policy, and then an option for Casey and Nate's ad hoc, I think, to also do like a deep dive into the policy and make formal recommendations. But the CAC agreed that we'd do a draft letter just addressing the lack of communication and just kind of expressing our thoughts in that letter. But it's not, in a way, it is a comment on a current policy, but it's not something that's like a formal policy recommendation through our ad hoc process. It was just an action taken because of what we felt was a lack of communication on an incident that took place.
And last time Ingram was here, he did encourage us to reach out and over communicate, I think, or communicate more. So, I mean, I think in kind of, I'm sort of agreeing with you here that maybe it does make sense for us to hold off on this, even though I drafted it with help from Nancy and everybody, and maybe reach out and just start that communication over email first, and maybe meet in person about it, and then we can get your guys' thoughts on it. So.
And I did let the sheriff know before the last meeting that we were meeting to just talk about what we felt was a lack of communication. And I read out part of what he wrote back to me, because I think it was reported that the incident took place, and the sheriff's been good about reporting on stuff. But I think what surprised us is we hadn't heard of the results that took place from the incident. And the sheriff's statement was basically saying that we can't say that this person's death was a result fully of what occurred with the deputy and the whole crash and things like that. So I think our whole point was that a follow-up statement wasn't put out on what happened to this person, and that's what we were concerned about.
Yeah, I think it's a follow-up statement and a notification of the ILR director, regardless of culpability, right? So it's just the event happened, like this occurred, that's it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the letter is supposed to touch on, like just let people know, let the director know. I still think that we should move forward, and I thought that's what we had all decided we would do, and that's why we put this on as an item for this month's meeting. But if you guys think we should hold off on that, then we can vote on that to formalize it, and we won't send it. And that's fine.
What do you all think?
I'm fine either way myself. I think it's just important to get it out there so it can be built upon later if it becomes a problem.
I think it should go out sooner than later. Yeah.
I think we should send it out and just invite the sheriff to just give us a brief response back, and based on his response, we can take it a step further if needed, or maybe he'll say something, like, yeah, our mistake, or, you never know what he's going to respond. I feel like he's open to hearing different points of view. And I feel like we don't lose anything by sending this letter to him.
Sounds good.
Just a point, if we do send it out on paragraph 3, second to last line, should trigger notification Tyler, needs to be spaced.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Typo, yep. Thank you.
I'm up, and I'll just add, I'm okay either way. I do appreciate Jim's comments that we do have a liaison from the sheriff's department, and it would be well used, or his relationship here with our advisory commission, to maybe, work with him in the future for things like this. But I understand where this one came from our last meeting, so I'm okay moving forward.
Okay, thank you. So I'll entertain a motion to approve this letter with that amendment based on the comments that I just heard.
I'll second it.
But I think I entertained, someone has to make the motion and then,
Oh, could we get clarification on removing serious injury or death to result in a major incident as defined by the sheriff's office? Or could we just say major incident that we?
That's policy 329, major incident notification.
If I followed the comments correctly, if you just take out the last sentence in the first paragraph, I think that accomplishes the goal. Then significant incidents is off the page, and the existing definition of major incident notification in policy 329 is all you're using, right?
yeah.
And the typo.
So we'll make those changes.
Yep.
So then there was a motion, right? Is there a second?
I'll second the motion. Susie Martez.
Okay, thank you.
Roll call? Yes,
Me.
Nathan Solomon, I vote yes. That's it.
Imelda Martínez también.
Michael Miller, yes.
Susie Martez, yes.
Alberto Botello, yes.
Lorena Barrera, yes. Thank you, that motion carries. Okay, moving on to, I feel like we're having a very efficient meeting today, even though I'm creating like, yeah,
I think Member Solomon was asking you, Chair, if we had public comment on item 5C, the letter you just approved, and I believe I did hear public comment on that. It was from Mr. Duffy and no one else. So I think we're good.
Yes.
Chair? Okay, great. May I make a suggestion about the order of items tonight?
yes.
Our next item is item 6, the adjournment for ad hoc committee working meetings. We have modest attendance tonight. So some of those ad hocs probably won't be able to meet because some of their members aren't here. How would it land with members of the CAC if we put that adjournment for ad hoc committees to the end of the meeting after adjournment tonight?
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. I was actually going to ask who will be meeting. The language access ad hoc is not going to be meeting, and neither is the immigration ad hoc. So I think if we're all in agreement with John's suggestion, then we'll move on to item 8 of the agenda, CAC committee reports, and we can report out on what we've worked on in the past month. We can start with community engagement.
Yes, I'm happy to report that we were able to meet, and we have set out future meetings. Invite was sent out to our members. Susie, I hope you received our invite. Probably busy. But we did set out meetings through December, subject to change based if anything happens, but so we can have the date set. We did get started on our SMART goals. We have a list of organizations. We ended up started by Susan and are having members sign up for certain organizations to reach out to and make connections with. And we are waiting contributions on events that we would like to attend as CAC members to reach our SMART goals. And then pending, obviously, are the two other items in our SMART goals, which is the communications plans, et cetera, which Rhonda will be helping us with. But if you, if members of the public want to join us for that, you're more than welcome. You can reach out to myself or Lisa to be included in the Zoom meetings. They are going to be on Fridays from at 1 p.m. and the dates are set already.
Thank you. ICE and immigration. Our chair is not here, but we've been receiving lots of communication regarding the things that the Board of Supervisors is considering, or things that have been brought to the Immigration Ad Hoc. And we have a scheduled meeting with Chair Hermosillo and Supervisor Hopkins. They kind of pushed us out a little late, I would say. It's towards the end of May, but we should be talking to them about the proposals to have an ordinance, I believe, to stop cooperation with ICE that other organizations have been bringing as a request to the Board of Supervisors. So we'll be meeting with those two supervisors since they are a part of their county like immigration ad hoc. I don't know the formal name of it, but Alberto, did I miss anything?
No.
Okay. Language access. We've met with Rania, who's helping us through the first part of our SMART goals. We're reviewing the county's language access plan and that of the sheriff's office. And Lieutenant Kidder reported out that I had requested information about bilingual pay and a bilingual program that the sheriff's office might have, as Nancy and I had been informed by the Deputy Sheriff's Association president and other individuals that the county wouldn't give the sheriff's office any bilingual pay or things like that. But we also learned that there's advertisements about bilingual pay benefits in the recruitments that Sheriff Ingram has been putting out. So it sounded like maybe there was a misunderstanding of what benefits there are. And so I reached out to Lieutenant Kidder to get some clarification on that. And he provided information regarding that. And we haven't met since then to discuss any of that. So we have a pending meeting coming up later this month. Moving on to Iolero Investigative Authority.
Yeah, so we've been very busy this last month, and we definitely met, I think, twice. It's kind of a blur, but so we had the big decision from the appeals court, kind of that final decision, which was good news. And we have been creating documentation, both like to share here and to distribute like to the press, like we described earlier. We also had some kind of talking points documents that were drawn up by Barbara. Again, thank you on that. And we've been distributing those as well. And we would encourage like everyone at the CAC to go to your supervisor and have a good, honest, heart-to-heart conversation about this, because I think it's very important to clarify with the Board of Supervisors where things stand and how clarifying that decision was. And we have more work to do, but right now it's really about messaging out that decision, probably for the next month or so, and then we will have further work beyond that. But I think it's really important to continue to push that message out there, because you know, this decision could still be appealed. So it's really important to get people understanding what just happened and not have it spun. So that's where we're at.
Thank you. And is anyone here from the jail programming? Trevor and John. I don't know who else is on the ad hoc.
I think it's just
no. Okay, so no report from them. Okay, so we'll move on to open time for public comment. This is for non-action items from this agenda, and for items not appearing on the agenda that are of the subject matter jurisdiction of the CAC. Are there any comments from the public for open time?
Yes.
Couple things. I saw that Governor Newsom's proposed budget, which of course, might not be accepted or whatever, but one of the items is to eliminate funding for the mental health units that go out in place of the deputies or police. And who knows what's gonna happen with that, but I'm just letting people know that this is something that might come down the pike if it's important. The other thing is, at yesterday's Board of Supervisors meeting, I've been to a number where we have stood up and protested, and nobody has ever even threatened us with arrest. And yesterday, they were arrested right away, instantly. So this is an escalation, and I don't know whether it came from the sheriff. He was there. I don't think he left, but I can't swear to that. Or whether it came from the Board of Supervisors themselves. But we are in an era of rising tension and rising repression to make sure people don't succeed in getting what they want. And this seemed really offensive. And I just want to mention it. Because it's ugly, I think, and very representative of the ugly times we're in.
What was the protest? What was the protest?
It was about the board's refusal to suggest to the sheriff, not, there's no ordering, just suggest to the sheriff that he reconsider how he cooperates with us. And of course he had asked, well, let's talk about it and maybe we can come up with something where we could discuss it with him. And the other four said no. So they stood up and they sang, "We Shall Overcome."
Were they arrested?
I was in the back, and Eddie was gone by then.
Oh, he was.
Because I stood up and turned around and I did not see him.
Okay.
As I.
Was it SRPD arrested, or?
No, the sheriff's office.
Sheriff's office, yeah.
They said you gotta clear the room by order of the sheriff's office.
Okay.
And a lot of people walked out, and the people who were protesting stayed, and
Weren't they handcuffed?
I think they cited them and released.
Oh, yeah, they did, yeah.
Great. I apologize, I'm not just asking questions, yeah.
I'm just gonna ask everyone to remember that we're in public comment,
Yes.
not adjournment and discussion.
Oh, no, we're just telling people.
I asked a question, sorry.
Explaining what people.
I understand,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm just reminding you, the format is provide a comment, and we got the next person who provides a comment.
So is that a joint public comment? Duffy, do you have? Anything else for open time? Okay, so we'll close out public comment for open time. And are there any requests for future agenda items? Okay, looks like there's none. Go ahead.
I have a request. That you just keep your eyes open in case the supervisors try and pull a quick one and throw on the ballot this year something to fix Measure P or clarify Measure P. I have a really strong stinking suspicion that that is a strong possibility. And we will need to jam it on your agenda immediately. And it may not have the magic number of days advance notice, but it'll have 72 hours notice. So.
We'll keep an eye out. Any CAC announcements?
I have a question. April 24th, the Junior College at Petaluma campus has a social justice conference. It's 9 to 3, and I don't know if we have a table there or a booth, but if not, I'd be glad to man one. If I can find out how y'all do that, I haven't done that before. So.
That's awesome. Thank you, Michael. I think Lizette can probably help you with that.
What's the date?
Yeah, April 24th.
Okay, thank you.
So I don't know if I need a table and a chair and a sign. I don't know what you, how you.
I have.
I'll
I'll email you.
Great, all right.
They provide them.
Any other CAC announcements?
I have
Okay,
cupcakes to celebrate Melda's last day. And there's cards if you want to sign cards going around.
I'm sorry that I'm not there, Imelda. I know that we had planned to do cake or some kind of treats to celebrate. Well, not really celebrate. I guess I'm not using the right word, but to thank you for your time on the CAC. Quería darle las gracias por el tiempo que estuvo con nosotros y espero que siga involucrada en la comunidad y nos pase recomendaciones o cualquier cosa que usted vea que nosotros podemos ayudar, que nos mantenga en mente. Y nos vemos para su entrevista de salida con Lizette. I just told Imelda thank you for her time here, and I hope she stays involved in the community. And if she notices anything that maybe the CAC can help with or address, that she lets us know. And I'm also assisting in her exit interview, so I'll be seeing her then. Gracias, Imelda. Okay, discussion of possible topics to publicize. Does anyone have any ideas or anything that you think we need to publicize aside from, we're definitely adding that letter that was drafted by the ad hoc that we just approved tonight. But if you have anything in mind, you can always email us if you can't think of it now.
How about the sheriff funding that program?
Okay, I think that's,
Oh,
yeah, Lieutenant Kidder, if we ran something by you, just like a sentence or two to add to the newsletter, can we run that by you and add it to the newsletter?
totally, absolutely.
Okay. And then we also always, I don't know if you all know, but we the stats on immigration, we do add those, the ICE stats, we do add those to the newsletter when after Lieutenant Kidder announces them at public meetings. So we'll add those as well. Okay, so if there's nothing else, then we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting at...
We have a public comment.
Wait.
And the sheriff and the DA saying that they would prosecute ICE.
Oh, thank you, yes.
If they, break the law here. That's something that we should have in the newsletter.
Thank you, yes, I
Give
agree.
credit where credit well deserved.
Thank you. So we will adjourn this meeting at 7:18 p.m. and our next CAC meeting will be on May 13th at the Finley Community Center at 6 p.m. Thank you all for being there tonight and for dealing with the hybrid remote managing of the meeting. See y'all next month.
Thank you. Thank you, Lorna.
Thanks, Lizette. Thanks, John. Thanks, Nate. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Right.